It's me, folks. Getting on the mend here. Let's talk. Last week you took a test on Thursday. A lot of you complained it was really hard. And as I like to say to most bio kids every year, it is a really hard test. It is. It's a hard topic to understand. It's very microscopic. You have to be able to understand stuff kind of just by spatially thinking about it, and you can't really see it. So I totally agree. It's a tough test. Miss Noel was kind enough to grade it. Quite a few people did really, really well on it. As usual, I usually curve the test, and so people's scores will go up. And those of you that did blatantly terrible, we can talk when I get back about various odds and ends. That being said, we had quite a few people that did not turn in reviews or mutations by analogy, so on and so forth. Those are things that bring your scores up. After the video or after the test, you should have watched a video called Cosmos with Neil deGrasse Tyson. He talked a lot about brown bears, polar bears, and then he got into dogs, and that was kind of where we were going with it. If you didn't finish that, you guys need to finish watching that today before you head to the library. That being said, we're starting a new unit. The topic is evolution. There's always some controversy on evolution in regards to, some people don't necessarily agree with it, and that's completely fine. I'm not asking you to believe it. I'm asking you to understand the mechanism by how it works. And we'll go over the basic definition of it, so on and so forth later, but that's kind of where we're started. That being said, you are going to be focusing today on a concept called artificial selection, which is basically evolution by human hand. And it's a process in the breeding of animals and in the cultivation of plants by which breeder chooses to perpetuate only those forms having certain desirable and heritable characteristics. And how are we going to relate this? We are going to relate this to everyone's favorite dog, or everyone's favorite pet, the dog. So after Cosmos is over, you're going to head to the library. Mr. Welch and Ms. Roy have done this with me for quite a few years, so they understand the concept. Use some books, use the internet, whatever you need to do. And you're going to research a particular dog breed, all right? Everybody, if you want to work with a partner, that's fine. If you want to work by yourself, that's fine. There are absolutely no groups of three, all right? And each group can only do one dog. So if somebody says they want to do the Golden Retriever, well, then nobody else can do the Golden Retriever. So we have a nice little introduction here on Every Dog Has Its Day, and they talk a little bit about dogs and so on and so forth. And they're cute and cuddly and snuggly and all those other good things, but dogs, a lot of dogs were originally bred to do jobs or to do work or to help humans, as you probably saw maybe from the Neil deGrasse Tyson video, or maybe some of you like to hunt, maybe some of you have researched the purebred dog that you have. And so basically what you're going to do is you're going to research your dog and you're going to create a Google slide presentation with your information and be ready to present it to the class. We will probably do that kind of half the class is presenting while the other class is walking around and learning about each dog. So the first thing you need to do is you need to pick a purebred dog. And again, Mr. Welch and Mr. Royce will have tons of different animals for you to pick from: Labrador Retriever, Golden Retriever, German Shepherd, Dachshund, Great Dane. I don't know. There's tons of them. Okay. And the first thing you need to do is you need to do some background research on your actual dog. And so if we look here, the dog that I picked, and no one can do this, okay, and no one can do a husky, is the Alaskan Husky, which is different than the Siberian Husky. It's kind of more of a dog that was created in, I guess, Alaska. And so basically, my first slide, I would have a slide that says the Alaskan Husky, and I would have a picture of the Alaskan Husky. Maybe I would have multiple pictures of the Alaskan Husky, and I might actually write by Mr. Catelli on it. Then I would move on to slide 2, and it says what is or was the dog's job, all right? And what was my Alaskan Husky bred to do? The Alaskan Husky was bred to help people travel over cold, icy areas. Guess what? Snowmobiles didn't always exist, all right? And so Huskies were created, all right, to help people navigate the Arctic, all right? Nowadays, they're just utilized for racing more or less, but I'm sure there are still some people that use them to move around, all right? So what was the dog's job? I would describe something about how it would help people obviously move. It would pull sleds, so on and so forth. All right, I would give some history of it. Oh, it was created in the, it was around in the early 1900s, and it helped the Eskimos do this, or it helped this tribe do this, or whatever it did. All right, and I would have some detailed information about it. I wouldn't just say it protected sheep. All right, I would give some background on it. Then for slides 3, 4, and 5, since this has to do with evolution and genetics, we want to pick 3 traits. One trait for slide 3, one trait for slide 4, and one trait for slide 5. All right, and those traits, okay, are going to be relatively specific to your dog. All right, so if I did the Alaskan Husky, All right, the first trait that I would talk about would be its webbed feet. All right, so basically what happened is a long time ago, someone found a dog that had webbed toes, and they determined that that dog could probably run better on snow if they have webbed toes than if they didn't have webbed toes. So they took that dog and they bred it with another dog. All right, and suddenly they had a litter of puppies. Some of them had webbed toes, and over time we continue to breed desirable traits into that particular dog. So my first slide 3 would be about webbed toes. Slide 4, okay, would be the dog's insatiable desire to pull and work. All right, these dogs love to run. All right, they love to pull and they love to work, and so that would be my next slide. Why is that beneficial for the dog? Well, we'll talk about that a little bit later. And then my fifth slide would be the third trait, and that would probably be their aerobic fitness. They can run for long periods of time without getting tired. I think Alaskan Huskies might have actually like a double fur coat that actually keeps them super warm in that obviously super cold climate. So those are just some things that we can do. I'm taking great sense of smell out. A lot of people just throw that down there, and even though their dog doesn't really have a good sense of smell. So nobody can put good sense of smell. The majority of dogs have great senses of smell. All right, so we don't need to add that one. Get a little more detail, okay? And then finally, how does each trait help the dog with that job? So on each slide, after you talk about the trait, what does it do to help the dog do it? And I just explained all of those. Really focus on what was the dog's job, its original job. I remember one year I had someone do a German Shepherd, and they said, oh, German Shepherd, it's a police dog. No, actually the German Shepherd was originally created to protect sheep. All right, it was a shepherding dog. All right, and it has certain traits that obviously play a role in protecting it. Its shepherding job obviously played a role in it becoming a good police dog, so on and so forth. If you want to tag that on to the end, you can totally do that. And then finally, I don't have it here, but you need to have a slide that has your sources. Okay, I don't want copy and pasting a bunch of stuff. That's ridiculous. I don't think this will take you the full block, but if it does, that's great. If you feel like you don't have enough time because you didn't finish Cosmos and you had to watch some of it, talk to Mr. Welch or Miss Royce, and they can schedule to have you guys come up on the A-Day. But that's kind of up to Miss Noel. She's going to kind of keep an eye on and see how far along everyone's going. But I really don't think it's that hard of a presentation. We're looking at artificial selection. There are certain traits in dogs that we chose over time to create modern-day dogs. All right. Any questions? Again, email me or put them in the class comments. And as most people know, if you've emailed me, I've been pretty good about responding. Hope to see you guys soon.